Hey everybody, I'm back. But like I was saying, it anytime a heel has their champion, it's like I was saying. I can't even remember what I was just saying, but what I was trying to point out is anytime a champion has a custom-made belt presented to them, everybody knows that it all depends on who the champion is, or who that person is. Either they're going to have a lengthy reign with that custom-made belt, or they're not going to have a lengthy reign. I know this sounds like I'm a big John Cena fan. I am a Cena fan. There's no doubt about it, but I'm not big. But when John Cena had the U.S. title custom made for him, and even though he lost it to Carlito, and Carlito brought back the old one, and then he won it back and he brought back the custom made one, that title, John Cena kept that custom made one for his first one for what, 6 months, 6.5 months, because he was over with the fans. He was over with the fans, and when he won it back on SmackDown, about 2 months later, 2.5 months later, about 2 months later I should say, he held on to it until about what, March, maybe April, March, February, something like that. So altogether he had about almost a 9-month reign with that belt, because he was over with the fans. He was over with the fans. And when he won the WWE Championship and brought down that belt that we now see, because he was over with the fans, not only did it represent his reign, but it also represented the starting of a new era in WWE. An era where we would see the last. An era which would... It was the start of an era that we're in now. Even though it was presented in the last, 2.5 years. Or last 2.5 years of what people would consider the Attitude Era. Because even though it was presented in those last 2.5 years of the Attitude Era, like I said, it represented a new era in WWE that was coming our way. And everybody saw it. And that's the thing about TNA. This belt that Jeff Hardy had presented to him, which he had custom made, is supposed to represent a new regime, a new era in TNA. Because you see, here's the deal. When Edge had his version of the spinner belt, if you will, of the belt we now see, presented to him with a big rated R symbol in it, when Edge had that presented to him, his reign didn't last that much longer. It ended at TLC. Right? It ended at TLC. And I wouldn't be surprised, let's say Wade Barrett wins his match against Randy Orton, that Wade Barrett has his version of the championship with a big N in there for Nexus in the middle presented to him. I wouldn't be surprised. But again, from what I have seen, anytime a heel has a championship custom made for them, for their reign, that heel's reign doesn't last maybe 2, 3, 4 months at least, maybe 2 to 3.5 months at the most. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, Austin, he was over as an anti-hero babyface when he presented the Smoking Skull belt. And when he lost the championship, we went to the belt that we all know. We went to that big circle belt. And when he regained the championship, he brought back the Smoking Skull belt. So yeah, it all depends on who the superstar is. Whether the overall babyface, if you will, then you know they might have a lengthy title reign with a custom-made belt for them. You know, but if they're like a anti-hero babyface, you know that even though they may have a custom-made belt, that belt's not going to last long because their reign's not going to last long, depending on how many times they win the championship. And the same could be said, but most of all, the same could be said for the villain, for the bad guy, for the heel. Anytime they have a custom-made championship presented to them, that usually is the start and the markings of the end of their championship reign. Because come on, people have already voiced their opinions. I said this in the first video, I believe. People have already voiced their opinions. It's more so just a replica. Looks like a Divas title combined with the Rey Mysterio mask or Jeff Hardy designed. Honestly, if I was in charge of TNA, I would have made it better if Jeff Hardy would have just painted on the belt. Spray painted the strap purple, would have painted on the championship one side one color, on the other side another color, and just said, this title reign, this belt now represents my reign. That's what I would have done. Would have made it easier. Would have made it more look like a legitimate takeover. But honestly, I don't know what to think. Honestly don't about this. I mean, the only company that's smart enough to really use the original belt that represents them and a new belt is Ring of Honor. I mean, when Tyler Black won the Ring of Honor Championship, he still carried and defended at times the belt that Bryan Danielson had. But as time went on, and even before he left to go to WWE, he would have a newer belt, which represented his reign, but also a new era in Ring of Honor. So that was the smart decision on Ring of Honor's part. Have two belts, one that represents, you know, the beginning, and one that represents, the old era, and one that represents a new era. I mean, and again, like I said, it all depends on the person. But most of the time, from what I have seen, the anti-hero babyface will win the title and maybe have it custom made for them for maybe a couple months title reign, then they'll lose the title, then they'll win it back, then they'll win it, then they'll have that belt back again. But from what I have seen, anytime a heel has a belt custom made for them, everybody knows that heel is not going to have that much longer of a reign. I know it. People like Jeff Meacham, people like ICO, CJ, and you know, he knows it. 1427 knows it. Hosea 1 knows it. Spinnernet knows it. Everybody knows that if it's a villain, a heel, a bad guy, whatever you want to call him, that has a custom-made belt made for them, for their reign, that their reign's not going to last that much longer. We all see it. And to me, all this is, again, it's just TNA copying WWE. Because this, I mean, take a look at the belt. Take a look up close on that. Does it say TNA on there? No. It doesn't say TNA anywhere. At least when Stone Cold and even The Rock had their custom-made belts, it said WWE. When Edge had his custom-made belt made, it didn't even say WWE. It just said Rated R. And like I said, if Wade Barrett wins the title at Survivor Series and has an N put in the place of the W, we all know those title reigns ain't going to last long. Because Edge's didn't, and if Wade Barrett wins the title and does that, his won't. You get what I'm saying, right? You get what I'm saying. Jeff Hardy having this custom-made belt that he had created presented to him on television to represent a new regime in his era in reign as champion, we all know it's not going to last long. Now, if it does, it does, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to last long, because we all know exactly what's going to happen very soon. I mean, take a look at the advertisements for Final Resolution. You see Dixie on there, you see Sting on there, you hear the question being asked that a lot of questions have been unanswered. So obviously we're going to have something big happen at Final Resolution, something huge, and it's going to involve that title that Jeff Hardy has being switched back over to the old one, or to the one that fans know. But again, TNA needs to learn to stop copying WWE. Alright? Because, you know, Bischoff could say what he wants, either in character or not, but fans are smart enough, longtime fans are smart enough to know that when a heel has a custom-made championship presented to them, that their reign's not going to last long. We all know, we as fans know that. We as longtime fans know that. Yeah, they may think to themselves, like I said in my other videos, that for the new generation of fans that are just getting into the sport, and for those young male demographics that are just starting to see what TNA has to offer, to them it may be new. But let me say this, if those fans, those new fans and that new generation of fans go online on YouTube, Daily Motion, if they go on WWE Classics on Demand, if you will, go to TNA Video Vault, they could see there for themselves that these things have happened already. Then they'll realize why we, the long-time fans, are saying the things that we're saying, are saying the things like what I'm saying, that this just represents the fact that Jeff Hardy's reign's not going to last that much longer. And you know, that's all I'm going to say about it. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you agree or not. Tell me if I made any sense here. But again, to me, TNA needs to stop copying WWE, and this is one of the ways they're doing it. By giving Jeff Hardy a custom-made belt, a heel Jeff Hardy a custom-made belt. When we all know when a heel gets a custom-made championship for their reign doesn't last much longer. So that's all I'm going to say. Tell me what you all think, and I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night. God bless.